Commander Sinclair, welcome to Babylon 5.
We are in the process of building the future.
Rangers never lie.
We have lost much, endured much, sacrificed greatly.
Zathras knew you would come.
I'll stick my head in the station's fusion reactor.
Life's full of mysteries. Consider this one of them.
If you go to Zahadu, you will die.
Well, we're back. We're waiting on Keith. I think he's somewhere lost in some random backstage outside of Walmart looking for the rest of the Crisco from 2 weeks ago. But we're here. Ta-da! And we're waiting on him to start throwing his undying love towards him. And we have Monkey with us, Kate, and of course, Adega Outlaw joining us for another Keith Chimes In. But right now it's we chime in because Keith is missing. Where's Waldo? I see in the chat we have today Jester of Sin. Hello, how are you? We have Arwen Avalon as usual saying afternoon, y'all, who is definitely sharing it with her family, and they're out through season 4. We have Zach7 saying, hey, all. Thank you, members, for being members. And then we have myself. I'm not going to highlight that because who cares? We have Wyatt Holiday. Since B5 is my all-time favorite show, I would be remiss if I weren't listening it. Well, thank you for joining us this week. And, of course, we have our panel and we have our shows. So there he is. There's the lover in question right there. The kisser and lips right there.
With extra butter and Crisco.
Who's lover? Your lover? Okay.
No, he's Keith's lover. Remember? Do you remember the shirt last?
Yeah.
Remember that? Yeah, it was like almost like a Telemundo almost. That's how bad it was.
I was embarrassed to be here.
You were not. You were pretty much stuff on Amazon to order. What are you talking about?
Didn't he say he wanted to draw him like one of those French girls?
It was. Pardon? Monkey?
Huh?
What'd you say?
I go, didn't he want Keith to draw him like one of those French girls?
It was either that or like redoing the Titanic scene with the nudity on the couch. Yeah, it was something like that. Yeah, but how are you guys all doing?
Okay.
Special.
Pretty good.
Special. How special?
Extra special.
Wow.
But we're gonna get into it right now, and let's get into the Long Dark first. This was season 2, episode 5, and this was my favorite out of the 2 episodes because not only is it well acted, it's really well delivered from my opinion, and we're getting that a little bit of a big tidbit that's not really showing an enemy servant of the great enemy that everyone keeps talking about. And I honestly, it was one of those episodes that was like a stepping stone, but it kept you wanting to push through the next episodes. Technically, I wanted to skip the next episode after because I didn't give a damn about Psychor at the goddamn least. I just wanted to know more about the servants. And as we watch Keith putting on his lipstick for Mr. Tickle Trunk, we're going to bring him in because it's all applied. Hi, Keith.
Howdy, everyone.
Let me get my master grift off the screen. How are you doing, sir? Thanks for showing up. Tardy but sane.
You know what? Travel does that. You know, and it has been, it has been an interesting experience. So
you've been all over this week, haven't you? Like you've been,
kind of, sort of.
Yeah. But we just started, and the chat has already said hi. Mr. Trickle Trunk, your secret lover, is in the chat. He's listening and lurking with like love sonnets, so it's going to be another weird one. Other than that, Long Dark. We're going to get into that. And since I've already said my spiel, let's go up the panel. And Daga, what did you think of this episode?
I'm with you. I like this one, probably the better of the 2. And I like how it sets the stage for 3 different things about the coming enemy. First is all other life forms are basically tools to be used for one reason or another. This life form that was on the ship was feeding off of them. Second thing is, like the shadows, later on you'll find about the Drakh, they are given tools to basically hide in plain sight. The Drakh, not so much. There's one episode where you could see, and it's later down the line, when you see it, you'll know what it is. It's a blurry looking creature, kind of fades in and out to where if it wanted to disappear, it could. And this creature you don't see. Even at the very end, you see the lightning around it. You don't see the actual creature itself. And in the silhouette of it, you can actually see, no, this is not a shadow. Because at first I was thinking it was an actual shadow. But it's not. It's like you said, it's a servant of a shadow. And the third thing has completely slipped my mind. But there was something else. So,
well, while you do that, I'm going to say it truthfully, because they actually employed, we're going to use the word employed, or drafted a lot of species that were pretty much on the cusp of not maybe evil from the good side, if we're going to go that route. They had a lot of species who followed their chaotic rhetoric, and they would do things and create weapons, bioweapons, mass planetary destructive forces, all in the name of chaos. And we only got to see one life form that was probably a full species that was like creepy. I guess it was also energy based, but it wasn't really threatening to the point that will be getting introduced to later on within the series, even within Crusade. And it was a great chicken nugget if we're going to go down the chicken nugget aspect of it. Is that about right? I think I'm right on this one, because I agree I'm right on this one. I'm going to agree with myself while I mumble.
Well, yeah, it's one of the interesting things about the design of the entire story. This is one of those benefits that when you think it through, when you have a writing staff that is on the same page and they are going and following what you should be doing, it's easy to build little things that mean much more into a story like this, and the details of creatures and getting into the complex relationships of both the shadows and their servants, as we'll eventually find out. All of it takes on a much bigger significance, and something that I truly admire about Babylon 5. As I said in the beginning, it's well thought out. You may not think that every episode is the best episode. I agree, not every episode is the best episode.
No.
But you cannot accuse this show of not being well thought out. I mean,
oh no, it's not.
Ooh.
It's literally like, let's go from people. Most people have seen Family Guy or watched Family Guy. The way Babylon 5 works out, it's like the James Wood joke. Ooh, piece of candy. Ooh, piece of candy. But the way the episodes are, they have pieces of candy throughout the full series. And that's why it keeps not only your eyes on it, but it keeps your mind open to looking for those clues. And the delivery you don't really find anymore. Before I add that, I wanted to ask Kate what you thought of The Long Dark, and then I'm going to ask Monkey Jeeves, and then we'll go on to Keith.
It's very soapy, which is fine. Like watching, I mean, I rewatched it, but watching it the first time, it's very like I have no idea what's going to be a long-term foreshadowing, obviously, and then some things for me may have not yet become foreshadowing within this episode. So it's interesting because I enjoy any kind of show. I understand this is all very plotted out and strategic, but as you watch it the first time, it doesn't feel like it is. It feels like anything could develop into something, and this plays off of that well, because as far as I know, some things don't develop and other things do thus far, and that's fun. Because then you can it's what keeps you interested, because like, well, is this character going to come back, or is this one-off name or word something relevant, and it makes it have a lot of opportunity in a complete universe, and most things don't do that either on purpose or accidentally anymore.
Before I let someone else talk quickly, I want to quickly correct Mr. Trickle Trunk here. You spelled Oprah, not opera. I'm sorry, I found that funny, but I agree, Kate, and that's one thing I like about your opinions. They're very similar but different. Yeah, I agree with you on that one. I need more soap.
Thanks. Soap?
Yeah, soap.
I'm a weirdo.
I am a weirdo. What about you? Were you done? I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. I'm sorry.
Me? No, yeah, it's fine. You're fine.
All right, Monkey. What about you, man?
Like, I like it how, like, there's, like, always, like, guest stars on the show, and then, like, it was Anne Marie Johnson this episode from In the Heat of the Night. She was, like, the doctor's love interest this episode, and, like, how he kept on playing it like, oh, I can't do this. This isn't proper.
Well, she's been cryotally frozen for, like, years and years.
But then, like, and then it turns out that she wasn't even that, like, into her husband, and then, like, he just keeps on, like, he just makes the wrong decisions, I guess.
Yeah. That makes sense. I actually can agree with that. But
he tries to talk to her at the end, and she was just like going like, oh yeah, I don't make promises you can't keep.
I understand. I get what you're going through that. Yeah, I kind of like that too. It was kind of like, I'll give you just a little. I didn't really like my husband. Now I'm going back to Earth. Bye. If I come around again, maybe we'll get back to that kiss. All right.
Yeah, it was like, if he was more sure of himself, he probably could have progressed farther. But then he kind of was his own worst enemy.
I was not trying to get with her. I don't know what you're talking about. It has not been 100 years. But that's also a good point, Jeebus. That's like the comedic effect that came underneath. And then we're on to Keith. How are you doing, Keith?
Good. Now, I did like this episode because I've always had a thing for Anne Marie Johnson. I mean, I find her to be not only just a great actress, but she's also an incredibly gifted comedic performer. If you know her from just In the Heat of the Night, then you're missing just a few things about her career and some of the movies that she's played in. But I'm telling you, her career has been so varied since then. You know, Boston Legal, Bones, That's So Raven, House of Pain, Leverage, Pretty Little Liars. I mean, even Days of Our Lives. And she's kept pretty busy. But to focus on the episode and on Dwight Schultz, who I also have to say, he always brings it. Every time he's on any show, I find that Dwight Schultz always brings it. And here's a little trivia you may not know. The character of Amos, the character of Amos that Dwight Schultz plays was being considered for a reoccurring part on the show. And it never worked out. I think mainly because he had other things going on. And also, you know, he ended up being a very popular member of the Next Generation crew. So, and unlike Babylon 5, you know, his association with Star Trek at least took him all the way to the big screen. So, overall, good episode. Is it one of the best? Probably not. I agree that one of the weakest things about it was the whole subplot with the doctor trying to get with this woman who's, you know, just lost her husband. So, I mean, you know, it is, yeah. So.
For me though, like I know a lot of people like that part. I didn't care for it. For me, I pretty much was focusing on the underlying lore, the great enemy, the servants of the enemy, and seeing what type of creature we were dealing with. And that's the only thing that hooked me on the whole thing, because it shows Garibaldi's side, because Garibaldi was also a ground pounder, if I remember that correctly, right? That means pretty much ground troops. And the way he related with the I can never remember the terminology for the guys who live in the lower decks, but the guy who was suffering from his own PTSD, because he actually ran into these creatures when he was on the moon outpost, when that whole event happened with him. And the way the episode opened up with him screaming out through the window because the Copernicus is slowly approaching Babylon 5. You can see he's either a loyal subject of this insanity, or he's been affected so to the point where the PTSD is not only his insanity, but it's also his road back to a type of sanity. And it's a very fine line. He acts in that way, and I don't think we get a lot of those actors throughout that series who can pull it off.
Yeah.
Sorry, I talked too much.
I agree. No. I'm right. I mean, you're right.
Lurkers, thank you, Shane.
This entire episode is to me, I think it was something that was more fitting as kind of like their own Halloween type episode, monster episode, that allowed them to tell that kind of story. And for those that have already seen the show and all of the movies, then you realize that this particular situation will happen again. So,
I agree. What about anyone else on the panel? Like, do you have any thoughts or adding anything you wanted to point out when it came to the long dark? A long dark?
Babylon 5, for the most part, is something that I absolutely love. And every once in a while, it doesn't matter which show, something will appear that really bothers me simply because I'm a healthcare professional. I'm a doctor. And seeing the doctor flirt with a patient breaks so many laws and ethical rules that it was like, oh, come on, who wrote this crap? But he would be out of his license in a heartbeat if that were real. So that bothered me a great deal. But other than that, I thought it was, I liked the episode. But I just had to point that out, that everything that the doctor was attempting with was so far outside of ethical boundaries that it was nuts.
I actually agree. Zach 7 says, I thought the relationship with the doctor was odd to the point. I expected a twist, but I'm okay with that they didn't go that way. I think me too. It would have diffused it in a way.
That's what makes it soapy. Have you never watched a soap? It's literally what they always do. It's an absolute soap trope.
So it's pretty much these are the Babylons of our 5.
No.
Oh, come on. That was good.
Well, those type of things always come back to bite the doctor in the butt.
Yes,
there is, reality,
yeah. But it is like, okay, I don't dislike this plot, but it's like a precursor. It's such a 90s and aughts trope for soap operas. CC, All My Children, Dr. David Hayward, and literally every female patient. So, and ultimately what they're setting up is like, is he a good guy or is he a bad guy? Is he manipulative? Is he really caring about people, or is he just wanting to experiment and be this evil mastermind? And that's what they're trying to set up. It doesn't go anywhere, but that's the trope in its entirety.
He seems like Morty.
It depends though, because we're not, if we're going through it, we're not reaching the point. Was it season 2 or season 3 they started having the problems with stims? I'm not getting into it, but I think it also would depend on what his persona is and how long he's been delving into certain.
That's true. He in general, he clearly has a bit of a pretty significant OCD, and admittedly daddy issues, which get resolved in a very pleasant way, and that's great. but he clearly has OCD, and so everything has to be his way, and everything he's always on, always on. Like, there are numerous episodes, and I'm only like not even halfway through the 3rd season, that he's like, oh, I've been up for 20 hours. It's like, dude, you're literally going to die. So it's a personality thing for sure. And it's part of the career, and they really ramp it up. But I don't know I don't know yet if they make him kind of sort of a bad guy, but it totally could have gone that way.
Well, you're kind of right, because if we're going back to the last episode we did here with the whole food plan stuff, he turned into like the concentration camp about what you're going to eat and what you're not going to eat. He would walk by you with that weird look, and his feet are doing the normal World War II walk. He's like, "Is that carbs? You best not be eating carbs. Yeah, you best be following my plan." Meanwhile, he has desserts and all this crap on his plate, and he's walking by.
Well, you also go back to season 1, where there was that one alien race. I can't remember the name of the episode, but they had the son who was passing away, and he could have easily been fixed by a surgery, but it was against their principles, their religion, everything. And he thought, you know what? I don't care. I'm going to do it anyway. And it ended up causing a big rift, and they killed the kid. But he knew better. He was the one in charge.
Yep. And that's just...
Go ahead, Kate.
It's just a person, like a very OCD personality, and he wants to be the hero, but then he ends up being a bad guy, and it's a very fine line, and I love that kind of character because I am a sick person, so but it's enjoyable. It makes him much more dynamic and fascinating. It's like, well, what direction is this plot point going to go, if anywhere? And it's like, it makes him much more dynamic. So
would you consider him
Richard
selfish? Because he's coming from the point where he's looking at alien races, he knows alien physiology, but he's not respecting it because he's coming from the human aspect of a doctor rather than a xeno point of view doctor, where it's dealing with all races and respecting them. Right.
No, well, there's a difference between being a doctor and how do I put this? He wants to medically fix everything, but that is not the same as a spiritual thing at all.
No, it's not.
Because it's not he cares about the physical body of everything. The mental well-being is entirely different and not his wheelhouse. So that's the disconnect, I would say.
Mr. Tickle Trunk says, note to self, don't let Kate operate on anyone.
I'm not a surgeon, nor would I care to be.
And Shane asks, God complex?
Most
not so much a God. Yeah. Again, it's part of adjusting to life in that particular situation. Being the chief medical officer on Babylon 5 is pretty much different than just about any other assignment he's probably ever had. You are the person in charge of everything, and one mistake can cost you more than just being a regular doctor in a hospital, because many of your patients are people of varying backgrounds. But more often than not, you're also the one that's going to be attending to the needs of many of the ambassadors. Mm-hmm. And there is a lot of pressure with that, because who knows, one thing you could do might lead to something that eventually starts another war. There's that fine line that you walk a little bit.
You're right, though. You're exactly right, because it's not only if you can't follow the respects of another race, you're putting into jeopardy the diplomatic accords that those races have with Earth in generalization, because Babylon 5 is one thing. It's a giant rotating mass of steel, but it's there for all races to get together, respect, and actually learn how to deal with each other at the same time. It's one place. Yeah.
It's true. Okay, I can understand where you're coming from, thinking would be difficult, but okay. So, I've gone to the Mayo Clinic my entire life. There's very few languages I have not heard in person. And everyone in that facility at all these campuses are incredibly patient and conscientious and respectful of all sorts of cultural things all the time. It's like a real life microcosm of what you're describing.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not, I'm sure it has a toll on the individuals who are in the position that you're describing. But as far as like observing the cultural ramifications, it's not quite as dramatic as a show would portray it to be. Because we're still all just living beings, ultimately.
True. Yes.
So,
yes. Well,
but
but
that being said, this county has a huge DUI, shut up, DUI, like top 5 DUIs for a reason. Because it takes toll on doctors. I'm sure.
Yeah.
Well,
Coco has a question quickly. Is B5 Crisco worth? What is this? No.
I guess why I brought all that up is because of the circumstances for the station. You got to remember, this is year 2, okay, in the lives of these characters. And Babylon 5 is a station where you've already had a lot of publicity about the destruction of the first 3 stations and then the disappearance of the 4th. This was not, I think, an assignment that was easy to find someone to be the chief medical officer of, first of all, because there's a high danger probability coming out of a major conflict and the potential for more conflicts down the line. As the show is written, Dr. Franklin does have a lot more pressure put upon him because of where he is. It's not just the pressure put on him by the job itself, but his own personal issues. And given who his dad was and how he grew up, all that combined together is what makes his character so interesting to me and helps to explain a lot of his eccentricities as it stands right now within where the show is. Things are going to get hairier for him on a personal level. He's going to have to struggle some more. But that's part of the essence of the show, not turning away when a lot of characters have personal difficulties, whether you're talking Garibaldi or even John Sheridan himself. It's one of the things that I really admired about this show. The ability to be able to show the tough times, the stuff that all the other science fiction shows up to this point didn't show. So, love it.
I agree. I can see that. I'm not gonna. It's your opinion. It's your choice. It's your life. So I'll never argue it. But I just think he's complex and he's able to be picked apart in different ways by different people, and that's the whole thing. It's never going to be wrong or totally or right, because everyone's opinion will be different, and how they see a character is pretty much their own eyesight and mind working with them. So it's always good, because you eventually can open up the mind of the other person you're describing it about, and they might not even see it. That's perfect.
Well, it was one of the things that I look, and again, I'm gonna name drop a little bit. It was one of the things that I had. Yeah, I know, right? It's one of the things that I liked about getting the opportunity to know Richard Biggs for the short time that I knew him. Laughing a little bit about the show and about his character. I think one of the personal jokes that we had was the fact that it just seemed like all the brothers weren't getting any real action at that time. Whether you're talking Star Trek or Babylon 5, between Geordi, Dr. Franklin, and I think at least at this time, even Commander Sisko. And it just, it still makes me laugh. But, yeah. Anyway.
That's good. Anyone else want to add in? Because I don't want to tell we're talking anyone at this point.
Again with the doctor thing, there is, and most people don't see it because. Sorry about the vehicles in the background. Most people don't see it because you don't get the opportunity to. You go to the doctor, they're in a position of authority, you trust what they say. These are the people that are educated, and you move on. The problem is most doctors nowadays are trained to read statistics and then prescribe according to the statistics. Sometimes they work, sometimes they don't. The attitude starts to become such, and I've seen this over and over and over again, that you become infallible and you are better and you are greater than just about everybody that comes into the office. And most people look at these guys and they think, wow, well, you must be right. You must be educated. The fun part is, because I've done this a lot, and you guys can look down on me because I'm going to say this, which is fine. I don't care. Some of us have a greater education on neurology and physiology and those type of things than just reading statistics from a book. And when I have gone, because I've seen a lot of them, even for my own health, I've fired a lot of doctors because of this. When you can talk above their head, you actually see, and they are confronted with their humanity, where Franklin hasn't really had that opportunity to confront his own humanity. He is top dog, he is right, and humble pie is being set up for him, which is really good about this.
Yeah, it's fun. I mean, I completely understand. I've butted heads with my doctors and other medical professionals for my health because I know what works for me and I'm concerned about me. And yeah, it's tough. It's tough when they're like, well, you have to do this because that's what everyone else is doing. It's like, no, I don't. I'm doing very well, thank you. So I appreciate your attitude, Dr. Adega.
Well, no, make them work for it.
I know, I do.
The biggest problem that a lot of doctors have nowadays, and I imagine, it's set in a fantasy situation like with the Babylon 5 or sci-fi situation, is the access to information. Yeah. Now, coming from a doctor's standpoint, when people come into their office and they say, oh, yeah, well, I got this, I got that, and this and that and the other, the doctor thinks, what the heck were they reading? They could be wrong. So they don't know if you got it right or not. And you go into the doctor's office and are convinced you have it right, and you might not. It's a matter of weeding through all of that. But the biggest thing that has to go is the egos. Yeah. Oh, yeah. And again, it goes back to the story. We're setting up Franklin's ego right now.
Yeah, I'm excited.
Before we go on a little bit further, Gogo 13 with the $5 super chat says, if I was to watch this show, where would be the best place to watch it? If so, drop dead. It is Crisco worthy. Is it Crisco worthy? Asking for a friend. FSS. Y'all just making me stutter.
Butter
thank you
flavored.
For that $5 super chat, and for that you'll get a new one. There you go. Thank you very much, folks.
Ever.
Thank you. That dorky moment was brought to you by FAT-STEVENSEAGAL. I sleep in Star Wars pajamas. And before we get into this, we have another panelist who has showed up not too late and not too early. Cover your ears. The destruction is here.
Though I know I should be wary, still I venture someplace scary. Ghostly haunting, I turn loose. Beetlejuice!
Oh, hey guys, what's going on? I heard you were summoning dragons.
There was something dragon, but it's just on the floor.
You called
with
me.
Crisco.
I apologize for being late. Hey, Crisco is delicious. I'm not saying it's good for you. I'm not a doctor.
You're delicious too.
I know.
All right, now get back into. We're on the long dark. Sorry, before we get too questions, Reeves, what did you think of the episode? Before this gets really creepy with Crisco.
So I have one question. There may be spoilers here. If this is a spoiler, please cover your ears. Was this episode about a shadow?
No, it was a servant.
Okay, now I'm even more confused. Continue.
Good.
Memes. The shadows, most people know what the hell's going on, but let's just go with this. The great enemy used to employ people like races that believed in the chaotic theory of evolution, right? So what we're being introduced to is one of the servants that are pretty much got.
They're showing us their minions.
Yes, that was a minion.
It's just like Diablo 3. Gotcha.
Yes. There was another minion in there too, and it was pretty much like this.
Oh my god.
That looks like my.
You're muted. I can't hear you.
I guess it's better than the flaccid bacon.
Oh, I'm not getting. Scalabetus, when no more He-Mans are there to fight.
You must have done a lot of working out to get into the role.
I am John McCracken. Tickle Trunk is flexing for Keith. And we have Lord from.
After that last one, I don't think he's flexing for me. I'm telling you right now.
I'm so sorry. Like, I didn't even think we were going to be here. I apologize for dimming the mood. I apologize, but I gotta acknowledge, when our fellow human beings suffer and everything, it's
memes,
like
this already did that for you.
What?
No.
That was part of the. Wait, is that different? Did that say Pfizer? Oh dear God, are you selling that?
No, you used the wrong
word.
No.
Hey, hashtag capitalism.
No.
You might want to look into it.
No.
I might meme this into existence.
No.
FAT-STEVENSEAGAL's motor pill. I apologize. I crossed the line.
Holy shit! All right, this has gotten derailed. It only took 36 minutes. Holy shit!
I couldn't think of a better word. I'm sorry.
Right.
I took some of my medicine.
But before that, F you, Steven. I hear that a lot. But in seriousness, where would you start? Season 2. Start with season 2. Go to the end, and then try season 1.
No. How about this? How about they go back and watch the playlist of what Keith has been recommending? Because I'm not going to lie. This is one of those things where it's like, if it starts off and it really doesn't tickle your fancy, you might not be able to get into it. But what I really appreciate about what Keith has done is he's literally given us like a fan's episode, guys. Like, if you want to start to learn the story, here's a basic outline. Go through these episodes. We'll have some words. We'll chat about it. You go listen back to some of Steven's actual podcasts where we discuss it. And it's like, all right, now you're actually starting to learn some of the more lore, getting more deep. And if you want to explore it, by all means, hey, like what you like.
Actually, if you really want a good start, you can go to In the Beginning. It's one of the movies.
Yeah. Us, where would you find this? So would it be Amazon or HBO Max that would have the remastered? I'm using air quotes right now, remastered for him to actually start watching this. It was Amazon, right? They have the rights to it?
That was HBO.
No, Amazon
HBO
does have it.
Yeah, Amazon has it as well as HBO Max.
Okay.
HBO Max at least has the series. That's what I'm watching on.
I guess.
So, but now the only thing that is really on the downside for this is that HBO Max, for whatever reason, did not also have access to all of the movies. So they've only put up the television series. That's it.
What? Has anybody asked them?
I think they've been asked by fans since they first posted it. I think there have been a dedicated group of fans that have been asking HBO Max to go ahead and put the made-for-television movies also up because it's a more complete story that way.
I'll go at them on Twitter.
It's not so, but it is not really that important in my opinion. Okay. Because you're getting J. Michael Straczynski's entire story, from the first episode, The Gathering, to the final episode, Sleeping in the Light. That's pretty much the story that he wanted to tell. The thing with the movies are some of them are meant to help flesh out certain things, certain incidences. And in the case of one particular movie, it's also a story that actually happens between episodes. And that is actually kind of a big deal. I remember when I first watched that movie, it's like, wow, I'm happy to see all these characters together, but that's kind of a big deal. How would they have gotten everything back together and back in place by the next episode?
Gorilla Glue.
Okay, that's at least a fourth of what we're talking about now. But River of Salt. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Is this true though? The movies are there for people who have seen the show. Do you think Tico Trunk is right saying it might cause a lot more spoilers for people who actually want to enjoy the series?
Yeah. There are a lot of spoilers in the films. Now, hold on. Let me at least say this. It is true. In the beginning, if you really wanted to start with that, that'd be a great way to go. It's not my personal favorite to start with that, but if you wanted to start within the beginning, that's fine. Because you're able. I think it means more though within the confines of all these characters and the story that they're trying to tell to have seen the series before you see in the beginning. Because unlike a major motion picture, I don't think they really took the time to get people to
love it,
come to understand and fall in love with the characters within the beginning. I think there's a certain understanding that you already know who these characters are, because there are people that come in and out of the story, and there are certain characters who are big characters within Babylon 5 that play really minor roles in the beginning. So,
honestly, and Arwen, you don't have to ever apologize for being a purist, because if we're going to go back, if you guys ever watched it when people were trying to get Gary and Az to start doing the Babylon 5 reviews, and they're all telling me, no, you got to watch it this way, you got to watch it this way, you got to watch it that way. No, you got to do it this way with this episode, that episode. And you can see it in their eyes, they're just like, shut the fuck up, let me watch it myself.
Well, if you still recommend skipping season 1, in the beginning is almost an absolute
true
where to start.
Yeah. That makes sense too. Yeah. What I was coming from was pretty much saying, don't ever apologize for how you watch it or how you enjoy watching it, as long as you enjoy the show. That is the main message I'm trying to say. But it's hilarious because Babylon 5 has something for everyone. And you can skip an episode and still be entertained and go back to the episode and try to enter. Like, I've skipped episodes. I find a lot of them boring. And Trickle Trunk says in the beginning, it is a really great movie for B5 fans. Having all that filled is great. Look at movies like Desert.
Yeah, in many ways, watching in the beginning is tantamount to someone never having seen Star Trek before and watching Star Trek 2.
Yeah.
You can still enjoy it, but there's a deeper meaning if you're already a fan of Star Trek to watching that particular movie.
Do you think the movie, sorry, Keith, do you think the movie for some people may be more engaging to get them into the series than maybe just watching a list of random episodes or starting from the beginning? What do you think?
Well, many of the movie really is made up of a lot of anecdotal stories and kind of things that characters have said during the entire 5 years of Babylon 5. I mean, that's the thing really about in the beginning. You hear characters make statements and sometimes talking about the past. And in the beginning is sort of like if they took all of those random one-off said things during the show and tied it together into a movie. That's what In the Beginning is.
So you think it's basically more for people that have been kind of watching it for a while, rather than if you just kind of come into it, you're not going to be able to get a lot of what they're saying. Okay, well, I got you.
There's action in it, and it'll keep you entertained. But if you want that deeper, again, Star Trek II, The Wrath of Khan is a good Star Trek film, okay? But if you want the deeper meaning of that film, you need to have at least seen the original series, and more importantly, the episode Space Seed, to understand the deeper meaning of the film.
So the series enhances it.
It enhances it.
I can attest to that because my dad loved the TOS, right? But I never really watched all the episodes with him. So when we watched Wrath of Khan, and they were doing the backspeak of relating to the other episode in the movie, I was kind of like, what's going on? I don't understand what's going on here. And it kind of throws you out of the loop for a little bit. So it does make sense. I'm done kissing ass.
And again, for anyone that wants to just watch in the beginning, I have nothing against that at all. If you want to make that your introduction to the Babylon 5 universe, go right ahead. Okay, I'm just saying, for me personally, while I love in the beginning, there's just so much there that you do have to have some familiarity with certain characters in order to truly get the most out of the scenes that you're watching. That's really my whole thing with it. But if that's how you want to start, let's start there. And I do agree, skipping first season, that kind of makes in the beginning, a little more important. But again,
ideally, in the beginning would be something that you would want to see after season 3.
Mm-hmm.
However, if you're going to skip season 1, you're going to need some kind of foundation when you get thrown in, especially since Sinclair isn't going to be there. So that's why I said in the beginning.
Yeah. Or at least start at Babylon Squared and work up. That works too. But Steve Kenobi says, "Hi there, Stephen and company. Hope you are all well." And hello, Steve. It's nice to see you in the chat. I hope you're well as well. I use love so much.
Yo, Stig.
Other than that, I love talking about this shit. This is awesome.
Well, this is the thing. We can just all kind of nerd out, because all I know is after driving like 6 hours back from like the greater Philly area yesterday, like going through rain and traffic, it's like, what episodes were we watching again? I'm like, I didn't know, so you scheduled this, so that's kind of what I was doing up until the point. I'm like, all right, let me decompress a little bit, just because it's like, I just want to sit down and watch some Babylon 5 and just not have to think about anything else.
Look, I want everyone to notice. Look at Meme's face when he talks about Babylon 5 and how it makes him just happy, and that does it to a lot of people. And that, when the show does that for you, it doesn't matter if it's Babylon 5 or anime or anything or a book, that shows it has quality. Yeah. And
how dare you compare me to a child playing the Amico like I saw the other day? How dare you compare me? Okay, I am a large child.
I am clipping that for a super chat.
Because you are too?
Yeah, I'm a large child too.
Don't you dare send that to Tommy Tallarico.
Oh no, I won't. I'm trying to get a hold of him. But yeah, that's perfect. And like that's what I love. Farscape is good. I want to do that next, and I think that will be the next one, Steve.
Oh yeah. Oh anyway, my goodness, Farscape was good.
Even Sequest. I would love to get into Sequest DSV and break that down, but it's not everyone's tea.
It isn't, but you know what? It's the same creator for both shows.
Yeah.
I have no idea what any of those are.
Picture Babylon
then
5
we're gonna have
underwater.
Oh,
but it's mobile.
Okay.
It's the younger generation's version of Voyage to the Bottom of the Sea. Oh, you met her too. She's nice. She's nice.
Look at that pirate V-neck he's wearing too. That's kind of sexy.
How is that? Is it a real tunic? Like Renfest tunic?
I am of the mind we should make the cape stylish again.
Oh, dude, you had to get a double. I don't envy you at all, and I hope they give you enough painkillers to feel like you're.
One question. Now I realize this is a horrible thing to say, but if Stig is all hopped up on painkillers right now and he likes Babylon 5, should we invite him on?
He likes Farscape.
All I know is my buddy, after having a root canal, he came back like hopped up on a whole bunch of Novocaine and stuff, and like he was pleasant and everything, but the way he talked, oh my god, I'm making fun of people undergoing surgery. I apologize.
He can take my place when I leave in a couple of minutes.
All right, well, before you do, and before we get into the next episode, literally, I want to ask Adega, what do you think of a spider in the web before you have to dip? And do you have any favorite parts before that a Long Dark did for you, especially as a viewer?
Which one do you want first, Spider or Long Dark?
Long Dark, then go into Spider, because we can use it as a segue.
It's like we led off with it. Long Dark is a huge setup of what we are going to be dealing with in the future, season 3, season 4. It gives us an idea of who the big bad is and who they associate with. Spider in the Web I liked a lot of it, but there was one part that really bothered me with this one as well. Like I said, Babylon 5, don't get me wrong, it's my favorite series in television. But when they came up with the Bureau and there wasn't a whole lot of follow through, I was disappointed with that. If they had named a lot of what happens with the Psi Corps under the Bureau identity would make more sense, but they didn't. It wasn't tied in. So it tells us that whoever wrote that episode, and I don't know the person's name offhand, missed the collaboration, or whoever wrote the successive episodes didn't tie into it, didn't keep that name. There was one other episode where they talked about the bombed out area of San Diego, where they had set up shop. But other than that, there was hardly any other mention of it except in the books. One book when it was dealing with the Psi Corps stuff. So I think that was a missed opportunity.
Well, I mean, again, I agree. I agree with everything you said. I wish there had been more. I wish that J. Michael Straczynski had been given the opportunity to make the big screen movie that he had wanted to make. Because first of all, I don't know how much you guys have delved into what Mr. Straczynski had said about the movie, but it was going to be different than what you think. The movie was going to be radically different because it wasn't going to take place on Babylon 5 at all. There was a big screen movie that he was wanting to do and sort of add that into everything that had already been done. And he was wanting to go with, I don't know if I should say, because that's a major spoiler, especially going into season 4. But there is a situation on Babylon 5 and a group of characters introduced that become important. And he wanted to make a big screen movie. And I think he wanted certain characters that you had dealt with before, and possibly even, how do I say this without spoiling too much, a kind of return of Talia Winters.
Don't go anymore.
And that's all I can say.
That's all you can say.
You know?
I'll mute you. But you're right. And Adega, do you have to dip? Is that why I wanted to give you at least a little bit more platform to talk? Or are you still good for a couple more minutes?
I got 4 or 5 minutes still.
All right, cool. Then, does anyone else want to bring anything up about A Long Dark before we go into the A Spider in the Web? Does anyone else have anything else they want to add? Don't all talk at once.
I think that's it. I think everybody's done with Spider in the Web.
How many shots does Garibaldi have per cap? Because he said he had 1 left, and it looks like he shot off 6 shots. So is that like is that like old school revolver? You got like a round in there? Just because I was just there's something I kind of at least.
No, they work on energy cells. They get about 30 shots.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool. Roger that.
Supposedly, Tickle Trick wants to add bacon to you. I don't know why, but he does. But yeah, other than that, that was A Long Dark review. Now we're going to go on to A Spider in the Web, which kind of, in a weird way, if you watch these in succession, it kind of throws off the feel and the momentum in a way, and it did it to me.
I'm like, what?
Wait,
it was just all of a sudden, you got invaded, you killed this random thing, you had no idea what it was, and here's a different story.
Yeah,
but it all goes to the same thing. I will say this: while these 2 episodes are very different, the underlying thing behind both those 2 things go to the same thing. With Spider in the Web, you have the main point or the main antagonist for this particular episode operate from a different end. Okay? This is from the other side of the war. Okay, I know I'm trying to give you information without revealing too much, and it's hard to do that.
It is.
It is. There are bad guys, but these particular bad guys aren't necessarily the Shadows.
They're servants.
No, but and you'll understand this, and people who've watched the show will understand this. Earth is very, very fortunate they didn't end up like Daltron 7.
There you go.
Or like Mars.
Right.
That's all I'm going to say on that one.
Well, isn't it a trope that Mars always ends up getting, pardon my French, fucked? Because this seems to happen in essentially the Expanse and everything, too. Like, you just keep on saying the Mars colony ends up getting screwed.
I think that is kind of like weird. You mentioned that. I'm actually looking through that. But Mars in this one, it was pretty much the whole episode is focusing around making them find another way through peace rather than rectify through war. And that's what the pretense was. And it was all about disruption, and as was the underlying layer, if I'm going to analyze from my beer's point of view.
Mm-hmm.
I love how they blatantly said, it's like, do you think you could do this? No, but I think we could do this. And then it's just calling out, it's like, well, we could always just go over the old path of just war, hating each other, destruction. I mean, it's what we're used to. It's just like he's just saying all these things. It's like, well, it's a very progressive idea. Do you think you could actually do it and not actually have it like fail? It's like, I have no idea. Let's give it a try. It's like you're describing how one would actually, you would hope, go about trying to do that, but at the same time saying it's like, yeah, there's always bullshit that gets in the way. Pardon my French. Apologies to the French.
You can swear. That's not really French, but you can swear.
You know what? One of the really cool things about this episode, again, the guest stars, Michael Beck, who, again, I don't think anybody had really seen this guy too much after he did Xanadu. And the Warriors, same guy. That still kind of throws me for a loop. But Adrienne Barbeau, a.k.a. the former Mrs. John Carpenter, and Jessica Walter, along with James Shigeta, who incredible actor. All of the guest stars for this were really, really, really good. I like them. And I like the story. Again, it goes to how all of this is eventually going to end. So, man, this is difficult.
It's like putting the floor is lava without ruining a show for people who are still not caught up with us yet. But before you say anything, I want to ask, is everyone in the chat caught up? Is everyone caught up? Or where are you right now in this series so we can actually get a verification?
And while you're verifying, I have got to step out. You folks are wonderful. Enjoy the rest of the show.
You're wonderful as well. You're very
breathtaking.
Now, Steven, if only there was technology in which we could ask the audience if they're caught up.
You know, if you're depending on where you are, why don't you go ahead and just indicate with a number? Number 1 for season 1, number 2 for season 2, number 3 for season 3, and so on. So just put a number. Let us know where you are.
Kate says 3.
Okay.
Probably watching for the 20th time. We have Shane Nolan with season 5, so he's definitely caught up and going.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm out there too. Season 4, episode 14, this time through. Nice Jester. Nerdporial Lifeform jumps in with I could live with just classic Star Trek shows in B5. I'd be set for life at FAT-STEVENSEAGAL. Thank you. I agree. And Memes comes in with the smart-ass big kid comment, Leet Speak. Thank you, sir.
8675309.
Hey, I'm watching in Keith's order. I haven't completed anything.
Oh, we're all doomed. But that's great. We got season 2 with Zach's episode 11. Dude, you're getting close to something fucking awesome. I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to spoil it. But yeah. And Trunk is definitely on rewatching season 4 episode. God, you guys are all hitting great points. I'm not going to share anything. Nerdporial says, hey, to everyone there. I am not reading that. I'm lazy. But hey, guess what? There's merch. No. We have 19 people watching. Make sure to smash the like or the dislike. But yeah, we're getting close where we actually can start talking about secrets. But
Yeah, I know.
It's so exciting.
Are,
It's like
are you actually going to release Fat Steven Seagal's secret sauce?
Oh God.
For that, I'll give you this.
Is there Crisco in it?
And for the ladies still watching, I'll also throw in a Henry Cavill just because I can.
Hey, when you get a
Whoa!
chance,
What's the?
I'm eating pizza. I don't want to get it on my shirt.
You're
Leave me alone.
topless eating
Hey,
pizza.
does this surprise you?
What the fuck am I looking at?
I'm a mimic. I'm a virus. I spread. I'm sorry.
That's not a virus. That's like I hope it don't. It's like I hope I don't get sauce on my shirt. But I don't care if I get pepperoni on my nipples. I don't give a fuck.
Hey! I can wash it off. It can stain. You did it first.
I need a Oh wait, here, hold on. I got that for you. There you go. Is that good enough for you, there,
Oh
Arwen?
my God.
Yeah, there you go. Look at
You're all
that.
scarred
It's so
for life.
beautiful. You're not scarred.
Absolutely.
It's better than this one. Hey guys. Oh come on, memes! What the? He turns out. Okay. Yeah, we gotta get back in the. Why does it turn into softcore every week? This is weird.
You're welcome.
Yeah, thank you. I'm very turned on and very hungry at the same time. I'm glad his pants are on. He's lying.
That's interesting to know that you think memes is attractive.
Jester says secret time only with pepperoni. And hey, Pod Racing Palpatine, I do see you in the chat. But let's get into this episode with the Psi Corps that we don't really know is the Psi Corps and some other things that are brooding. And we'll start with a common phrase, free Mars. Where do we go from there? Bum, free Mars.
Well,
no.
You know what? For me, this is definitely an episode that I remember the first time I watched it. I was
eating pizza.
I really liked. I really liked all of the scenes with Talia and Garibaldi because I think by then I knew that those two actors were married or had been married. So watching those scenes, it means something a little bit when you can watch two actors that actually have a personal connection, play off of each other a little bit.
Is there fan fiction?
Oh my God.
Yeah, probably lots.
It reminds me of a girl I went to school with. I'm sorry.
Quirky cop. Ew.
Holy shit.
Why are you surprised?
There's one with Ivanova and Talia. What the
Of course there is. That's fan fiction.
I am not reading this. I'm sorry.
Didn't you ever use LiveJournal?
No, I just wrote on my hand.
I apologize, Steven. I forgot questions were dangerous.
They're not dangerous. Your nipples are dangerous.
Ew. What the fuck?
This stream is definitely not sponsored by Nair, but Nair, if you're listening, help a brother out.
We are not made for children.
Hey, Jeebus, help your back. We're on a spider in the web, Jeebus, and I liked the episode, Keith, and everyone on the panel. I liked it, but it at the same time it was boring. Mm-hmm. I didn't get.
It's okay the first time. Excuse me, sorry.
I'm done.
Oh, it's interesting the first time through, but like a second time, nothing happens. There's nothing that like
Psi Corps.
Pardon?
What is that guy being controlled by the Psi Corps or something?
We don't know it's really the Psi Corps. All we see is a pair of moving lips saying "engage protocol," whatever.
No, we saw who it was. I thought they found another person and traced it back.
Okay, look. I can definitely tell you this. There is a working relationship between the Psi Corps and another branch of government, and let's just leave it at that. So,
I think we're all past the point where we can. Is the spoilers going to ruin future episodes, Keith, or is it going to ruin stuff from the past?
I don't know. I mean, if we already know up to this point who it is, I mean, that's just.
But that's the thing. it's a divider, because I'll try to say this in generalization. Yes, Psy-Corps is involved, but the problem is with Psy-Corps is that there's stuff going on within Psy-Corps that not even normal Psy-Corps agents are aware of, and that's all I'm going to say.
Yep.
So it's like sex within sex within sex. SECT, sorry, S, not SEXES. Before someone writes it in the chat.
No, is it like a human centipede, or no? It's like an Ouroboros.
No,
it's more like an eclair inside of a Timbit.
SECT, sex.
Oh. Yeah, SECT. Yes,
it's through inside a pastry.
You can't.
A novel.
Oh my goodness! Am I not saying it?
That's why we have the FDA.
Yes, you're saying it right. Not sex. What the fuck?
That's not what I said.
That's what Trunk said.
Oh god.
Sucks. What is wrong? Oh my god! What have you done, memes, with your nudity? You've turned him into a horn dog. It's just not happening.
I am a virus. I spread throughout the net.
That might
be
reboot. Oh jeez.
Yeah. But let's get back. Yeah, it's sex. So it's pretty much trying to say, like, we're getting an introduction, like we're talking about the layers, that someone from that company might be involved, but they're not even part. What they're doing is probably not within the whole company itself, because we already have influence that we don't even know about that is related to not only Mars but with the great enemy. It's sprinkled so lightly, it's barely noticeable unless you've actually watched through the series to begin with. And I'm nailing that about right, I think. Yeah.
Well, and they're setting this up that when the trap is sprung, when everything becomes known, I think Captain Sheridan and the crew of Babylon 5 are going to realize how truly alone they are. So,
it's the horrifying thing, realizing you're trapped and alone, and the way it happened. I'm not getting into it. Sorry, I'm going to spoil it. All right. Then, Kate, what did you think of the episode? I already went through that, though. You kind of.
Yeah, kind of. I mean, it was interesting the first time I watched it, and then the second time I skimmed through it, and it's like, well, it doesn't seem as much happens. I understand what they're setting up, because I'm far enough along to understand what they're setting up. And they want you to be torn if a character is good or bad. And they do that a lot in this. They want everyone to have these dualities. And ultimately, most characters, I would say, are really true neutral. And it's interesting because shows never do that. You just have bad guys and the good guys. So there isn't much just plain straightforwardness. It's always a weaving in and out. And this one in particular tries to pull at heartstrings. That, first time around, it's like, oh, well, that's endearing. Second time, it's like, I am not buying this anymore. So.
Well, I think it goes along with what I think Jakar said in the first season, which is no one here is who they appear to be.
Oh.
There is a duality to all of this, to everyone on board the ship. Everyone is, they have their public face and their private face, but there's also who you are now and who you will be once the show ends. Yeah. So once the story is told, once you reach the end of the story, not every character is going to be exactly as who they, started out to be, which is one of the great things about Babylon 5.
And that's one thing you mentioned Jakar, and I want to go back to Long Dark quickly. When that woman first gets starts getting to know the station, seeing all the alien races, Jakar approaches, going, "You should go back to the time you came from." And that one line, I totally forgot about, but that was not only scary, but it was meant as it was basically groovy music. I'm gonna get copyright hit for.
Probably not.
I know.
Almost.
But yeah, this episode's pretty much cops and robbers, if I look at it in a way.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
Yeah. What about you, Jeebus?
I liked it. It was kind of like who do you trust? Like, is everybody really telling the truth? Because she was hiding that she had a relationship with him because of her connection to that Free Mars, and then like how she really thought she wanted to work with the guy before he was murdered, and then Garibaldi didn't trust her, but Sheridan knows better, so he vouched for her.
And what about you, Memes, as you digest?
Should I put a shirt on?
I don't care.
No, we'll just. All right. So with this episode, it was interesting, and I can kind of see how Keith was saying it could weave in, because I have my suspicions just based upon like what we've already watched so far, like Kate was saying there. And as far as what's going to develop from this episode, it is very interesting. And I did anybody else notice the sheer fact that it's like, all right, what seems to be going on? You need a lot of power, you need a lot of money. It's like, there seem to be some incredibly huge corporations making a lot of moves here and everything. And I'm like, I guess who knew corporations or people too could go so far? Wait, that didn't even happen when this series was made. Well, they predicted a lot, I guess.
They did. And before you get into your next point, Keith sadly has to go. He has to do real life stuff. So I want to thank him for showing up and being here. And we're going to wish him a farewell. Thank you, Keith.
Thanks, brother.
You have to mute, dude. Unmute. Did he just leave his icon here and leave?
Maybe.
He might have had to go.
There you go.
Oh,
hey guys, sorry.
Hi.
Look, you guys are fantastic. And to everybody that's in the audience, remember, hit the like button, hit the dislike button if there's something that we've said that you don't like. But everybody just continue to watch, continue to love B5, and or at least experience B5, and hopefully I can catch you guys on the flip side next week.
Tickle Truck wants to know if you were pooping.
No.
Okay, no. Sorry, Tickle Truck. But we'll continue on for a little bit longer, give our subsidiaries about the episode. And Keith, you have a great day, and look both ways before leaving that bathtub.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. You're
Peace
welcome.
out, brother.
And with that, I am now larger than ever. No, I'm not going to do that. That's just weird. But yeah, you were going on, Memes, before I had to interrupt you.
I'm sorry. I got distracted because within what I had open, all of a sudden I saw an individual without a shirt. It ended up being the Gecko from Geico. Well, must have known I was a scaly. Oh, but no. To comment off of what? Oh, was it Austin or something? Or somebody had said, was it? Oh, you should go back to your own time. It's like, well, if there is a balance to everything, just on the page that I had opened up here, we must remember, flowing through all, there is balance. There's no peace without a passion to create. There's no passion without peace to guide. Knowledge fades without the strength to act. Power blinds without the serenity to see. There is freedom in life. There's purpose in death. The force is all things, and I am the force. It's a great Jedi code.
It is. You're brilliant, dude. You're brilliant in your own way. But
that's all I got, and it I can totally see how the Expanse. I don't want to say it completely ripped it off, but I mean a lot of shows kind of have started going down this way, where it's like, is this character just pure evil? It's like, I think it's much more difficult than just a strict binary. I'm just saying.
Yeah, but maybe with that, do you think that sci-fi in general eventually starts repeating itself, whether from one series or another, because they haven't opened their minds enough to go down a road that can still be science fiction, still be based in the galaxy, but also homegrown on Earth?
Well, I think go on.
I think things accidentally mimic other things, though. I mean, there's a lot of shows and movies that inadvertently mimicked Shakespeare, and you could say that for like Jules Verne too, probably, among other authors. So it's kind of inevitable. It's probably just a human condition versus deliberately mimicking or copying or being subconsciously inspired by something else.
I think it's kind of like music. There's going to be so many riffs, and at some point you're just going to kind of repackage or reprocess it.
Yeah.
And to actually have something that's like truly revolutionary that can be pretty hard because, I mean, even science in general, it's like we got up to like the 80s, we got up to string theory. It's like, all right, we're like 95% the way there. How do we quantize gravity? Ah, crap. And a lot of the field, it's like, dude, there's so much interesting stuff that's going on. And the guy I kind of keep on randomly throwing out there, Mr. Thad Roberts, who I believe may be the closest as we've seen to attempting to solve for universe, the guy that kind of from the hyperbolic figure eight knot and its complement has been able to, according to him, determine the length, mass, charge, temperature, and time of all 17 standard model elementary particles, as well as to derive the Planck constants. I'm like, I literally was doing it in like Wolfram Alpha the other day. He's like, type this in, see what happens. I'm like, these things are matching up. This is getting very interesting. So I got him coming on this Saturday at 1 p.m.
Oh, shameless plugs. Woo!
I know, totally.
Zach 7 says, I feel less binary when Meme takes his shirt off. Oh my God, I'm not reading that.
The Mars representative, she was from Swamp Thing.
Pardon?
Oh, the Mars representative, the lady, she was from Swamp Thing. Yeah, Adrienne Barbeau.
Swamp Thing, you make my heart sing.
And, that 70s show.
And Deep Space Nine supposedly as well, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
She's like a bunch of stuff.
Yeah, she has a lot of acting history. It's fantastic. They even made puns and jokes within C-Lab 2021 when Captain Murphy wanted to be an Adrian Barbeau bot. If anyone remembers that episode.
I don't remember
the
most
Swamp
of that
Thing
show.
International Cut is like known for like her topless scene.
Really?
What?
There was a topless scene?
Wait. So what you're saying is she's a shirtless ally?
In the theatrical cut, she didn't like she wasn't topless, but like in the international one, she was.
All right, we'll bookmark that later.
Our audience suddenly just dropped to half.
No, they didn't. They're still looking and listening. They probably want to know the
they're
website.
multitasking. What a talented group of individuals.
They're checking it up on Pornhub.
Oh my God, let's not do that.
I'm verified there.
Oh my God.
I have a blue check mark.
You allowed this, Steven. It's your
I
mess.
allowed this. I know. I allowed this now.
No.
Yes.
How dare you feel bad for me?
I don't feel bad for you. I have to have sympathy to feel bad for you.
Fair point.
Yeah, but I think we can start wrapping it up because honestly, this episode was good, but it wasn't full. I didn't feel full after watching this episode. I didn't. I'm not saying I didn't like it. It was an episode that I could skip and maybe come back later if another episode had a relation to it. But it wasn't me.
There was no major revelation. Yeah,
it's the kind of thing you can watch out of order, and it can fit anywhere, just about.
Yeah, it's
almost filler, but then it has some plot points, but it's mostly forgettable.
Yeah, you're always going to get that in a series, but like, I remember more about Long Dark than I do about this one because it was technically a very pale Michael Jackson wannabe going around killing people with a electric glove. And if anyone's ever seen, what was it? It was an old TV movie too. Pardon?
He reminded me of that Star Trek episode where those aliens had that power to like zap people.
I think so. Which series was it?
Oh, The Next Generation. It was like the guy who played Kirk's son from The Wrath of Khan.
Well, I mean, the dude was basically like a space wizard. He literally just reached out, electric touched you, and freaking killed like that Mars dude that was trying to have teeth.
He had but this guy had a cybernetic arm, whatever.
Right. No, he was just utilizing a touch attack. And wait, was this the same episode that Garibaldi said you just needed a wizard, and he's like, I'm a wizard?
don't remember.
No,
That's how
because
bad it was.
Sinclair was there. He was trying to look something up. It's like, well, in order to find this, you would need to do this, which makes like that monk episode so much more impactful. Just because you're sitting there and it's like Garibaldi, who literally just pulled off some wizardry here, at some point or another is like, this is going to take so much time. It's going to take so much effort. The monks look at it like, give us an hour. He's like, what? And then
Oh, that's the
Garibaldi was also, when that guy in the previous episode was kind of talking about the end times, he's like, unless you have a series something license, it's like, well, sorry, you probably shouldn't be screaming about the end of times, my man.
And then Ivanova used them.
Yeah, I guess so. I don't remember exactly, and I'll stand by it. Part of it was filling Sheridan's backstory as well. I remember we just got a new captain we're being introduced to. That is true, but I didn't feel like there was enough about Sheridan. I really don't. It was focused on Talia crying, feeling very scared and intimidated, while a person that was only trying to kill her was trying to ask her for help at the same time. And it was like, it was detached to me. It was like, I get what they were trying to deliver, but it was detached. And maybe it was just because of the times of the 90s and the way the delivery was. But I think they could have done it better, but it wasn't horrible.
So Steven, you got to remember, we also learned what Garibaldi's third most favorite thing in the universe was.
Talia Winters.
Tea. Well, he likes tea.
Well, tea, yeah, but he also likes flirting with Talia Winters.
Wait a second. Wait, hold on. Wait. Do you think he was insinuating something when he said tea? He didn't actually mean the caffeinated beverage. He meant tea, as in this Talia.
I
see what you did there.
Yeah, but you see that one when we had that one episode weeks back, right? We were like, if I was Garibaldi, I pretty much just keep sending the sidekick that mental image of myself naked. So, we don't have to worry about it no more. Like, that's it. Like, you just play a joke like, oh my God damn it.
You walked right into that.
I did walk right into that with a full force of a truck.
I would have thought the sidecore people would have been better at like hand-to-hand combat or something, like to defend themselves in case their stuff doesn't work.
But maybe, but they're more based off mentality attacks, right? Mental attacks. If you can disarm a person or a human being without the
that like you should be prepared for everything. Like maybe your mental attacks don't work, so you should be able to handle yourself like physically, or be able to have you should have like weapons training or something like that,
Well, this was also more of an asymmetric attack because it was also like powered by some form of like a robot literally in this dude's brain. So if you're mostly training against basically just humans, that would normally work. But you could see, even as she was looking with him, it's kind of like, this seems a little odd. What's going on? Then she'd get those flashes.
He was a dead man. He was a man who was dead.
Wait a second. Are you saying the killer was the one-armed man?
No, he was literally dead. That's the whole thing, though. That's how they were doing their experiments. The point of the experiments is they finally found a candidate that was dead that they can manipulate and reprogram to be an agent, but also be an agent that had no clue what was going on.
Are you sure?
Out for help was because Talia hit the memories in his mind, and that's what triggered him to have a second guess of what he was doing and fighting against the programming. It's like watching a Borg fighting being a Borg, but he's still dead.
Right. That's what Stephen meant by sex in sex.
Yes.
Oh.
Yeah, so this is like deep...
Groups, not coitus. Gotcha. I understand
Oh my God.
And not coitus, kaleidoscopes. That's pretty much it. Different views right there.
Oh my God.
But hey, Kaylee, we see you in the chat. But that's about it. Does anyone have anything else to add? Because, like, honestly, like I want to have a nap after talking about this episode. It's just it doesn't interest me. It was great acting, but
the people, when it says that they're deceased, they're actually dead.
He died. What was his name? Arlen. I gotta remember the name. I think I have it here somewhere. But
like the sidecore lady, where it's like when she was looking up her name, it said that she was deceased.
Yeah.
Is she was dead then?
I don't think she was dead. Maybe they were using it to hide her tracks so she can act as an undercover agent or master control for these assassins, right? Mm-hmm. But I'm trying to find. He was dead. I remember saying he was dead. Because that's the whole point. And that's where it was Abel Horn. The killer is Abel Horn, And he was literally one of the leaders of Free Mars. But whatever happened, he was killed when his ship was fired upon by an Earth Alliance ship. But that's why Tally was seeing all those images, right? But they weren't making sense. He doesn't realize, or probably has been programmed not to go into his memories, and doesn't realize he's been dead. He was dead for however long a time, and that's where they reprogrammed on maybe a genetic and cellular level, as well as a
revived
biotechnology level. Because we don't know what's going on in Earth, we don't know what's going on with Mars, and we don't know that whether or not there's more sects that are actually interfering within the larger corporations.
He's like nanite control or something.
Yeah. That hand, whatever was linked up to his hand, was probably linked up to his brain, and that's why his humanity eventually was becoming into question from himself, because he was trying to realize, why am I having memories about my death, yet I'm walking around? Yes, he died. Thank you, Chicotrunk. You said that. Yeah. So it's pretty much we're watching a breathing Borg as an assassin. Remote control car.
That was like I noticed that.
We just lost memes. What happened?
Yeah, I don't know.
The pepperoni got him. I was at Little Caesars. But nice to know it wasn't just me who really didn't care for it. No, it wasn't. It really takes you out, because of the other episode was very Easter eggy. This one wasn't.
Well, there are Easter eggs in this, but they're very subtle and even forgettable. So once you get to the point where you're like, oh, that's what they were talking about, you already forgot this episode. So unless you go through it strategically again, you're going to be like, eh.
Cuber wins the pun of the day with must be intersectional. He wins.
Yes.
And with that, we have Cavalryman Shay. I can never do that in the first run. I don't know what it is with my mouth. I would just project the image of my wang bobbing to the eye of the tiger. Oh my God. Okay, well, with that, we're going to start wrapping up, because that was a mental image I didn't want before dinner. I love that. That was Cavatinho.
Did you mention that next episode, Steven?
Sorry, go ahead. Oh, we have to discuss the next episodes. We haven't done that. All right. So while we're looking, I'm going to look through my stuff right now. And since we did the Long, Dark, and Aspire's Web, I think we have a good one here. We're going to do Soulmates and a Race Through Dark Places for next week. So that's going to be season 2, episodes 7 and 8. And it'll be the same time next Monday. And we're going to do season 2, 7 and 8. So I'll write that in the chat now. Season 2, episodes 7 and 8, because I somehow put ampersand twice, will be next Monday. And I think that'll be a great way to keep going, because I think we start getting on a panel, because Keith Jed, we forgot to ask him. But that'll be next Monday. I want to thank people who have donated, who subscribed, who actually became new members or whatever, or made constant weird dick jokes with psychic telepathy. And I wanted to give a special thank out to not Memes his shirtless self, but the pizza, because it has been so damn good it took down his internet. I'd like to thank Kate. Thank you for always being here. Monkey Jeebus, thank you for being here. The chat, the mods, Keith, who is now gone, Adega Outlaw, the doctor himself, and Means of Destruction. I wish you all a fantastic day, a fantastic evening. I hope you have a great dinner. Spam those grift cards in the chat. Check out the store. And we are going to end this with this. Also, we're not sponsored by any pizza places, but if Domino's or Little Caesars, you're listening, I would love some pizza. Oh, Memes is back, so hold on a second. I got to end this quickly. Hold on. Oh, we're not done just yet. Memes, you want to say goodbye?
Oh, peace out, everybody.
I'm sorry you got here last as you were like, I don't know what you're doing.
My computer died.
Oh, no. Now, everyone say goodbye to Memes, because we actually had to end the intro for Memes again. And with that, thank you, everyone, and your Intellerico heart. We're out, bitches. And like I was saying before, Domino's, Little Caesars, Pizza, if you want to sponsor us for next week, just give me a shout in my DMs. I could really use some pepperoni and stuffed crust. Memes especially. And some nair.
Cheeser.
Pizza's all right, but I just want to get it up. Everyone have a good night. Get the fuck out of here. Wherever you go, remember to say Fat Steven rates you. Go out of here.
The dessert pizza is delicious.
I'm gonna rub my butter nipples all over your Crisco.